How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. If you are invested in Alphabet or Meta or Amazon or a variety of these other companies this week, you should watch this video. I talk about crypto mostly on the channel, but I do talk about stocks, especially in the Patreon group. I've been talking about how I've been buying some of these stocks pretty aggressively recently. There's one stock that I have bought more aggressively than any of the ones I just mentioned, but I'll save that for a video later this week where I talk about my portfolio. But I wanted to cover this. I want to show you this video because I think this is going to be really beneficial to people that are invested in these stocks. If you guys don't mind hitting the like button and subscribe button, I appreciate that. There is a link down there to BlockFi where you can get up to a $250 bonus just by depositing. You can get this crypto bonus. They also have a crypto backed card or a crypto back card where you actually get paid in crypto for using the card. So there are links to both of those underneath the video, but let's move on. So we know that this is going to be a massive earnings week this week. So many companies are announcing, and I thought this was really time sensitive, which is why I wanted to push this out as quickly as possible. Earlier today, Tom Nash made a video, and Tom, I really like watching his videos, on this TipRanks tool. Now, I have worked with TipRanks. I have this ultimate subscription package there. I'll link to TipRanks underneath the video in case you want to sign up. You can try this out. But this website traffic tool, I think it's super beneficial. And I've used it in the past when I've done videos for TipRanks. I used it. And what you can see here is the amount of traffic that different websites are getting over time. Like, for example, Tom showed this in his video this morning. Netflix shows a decrease in the amount of people visiting their website. Obviously, that is negative. This is a website or a stock that really depends on people actually showing up. Like, for example, Tesla. I don't think the traffic on their website necessarily leads to their stock appreciating, right? Like, there are going to be people that buy cars, and there's a lot more that goes into how Tesla does than just how many people visit, right? You're looking at their margins, you're looking at what they're innovating on. But something like Netflix, it's really dependent on the number of people that are visiting the site and the new sales. But a lot of it is driven by how much they're actually seeing on their website. And you can see that over the last quarter, because we're on quarter here, you can see negative 9% in the amount of people visiting their website on a quarterly basis. So that is obviously going to hurt when they announce earnings. Obviously, there are other things that come into play, but this is an indication on what might happen. And you've seen just consistent drop off in the amount of people watching. So I want to cover Google, Amazon, and Facebook. These are some of my larger holdings, and I thought this would be beneficial for you to see how they've actually done in terms of traffic. So let's take a look. First of all, Alphabet. We can put YouTube, Google. I pretty much just clicked all the important things here. I mean, we can throw some of these in, but as you can see, they're updating and they're not changing over here because there's so many views come from YouTube and Google specifically. So you can see back in Q2 of 2021, when we kind of went back into the pandemic setting where a lot of people were locked down, we saw an increase in the amount of people that were on Google and YouTube. And then we saw a decrease the next quarter, a decrease the next, and we've seen a little bit of a decrease actually this last quarter. However, I will remind you that last quarter, we actually had a really good earnings, even though we had a lot less views. So that's kind of interesting, right? They had a significant boom to their stock. They went up like 10% after hours, and they had really good profitability, even though their views went down. So right now, we're not experiencing the same decrease in the amount of views, so it's possible they could still have a really good earnings. Now, maybe they don't. Maybe that's why the stock has come down from 2,600, 2,700 just a few weeks ago to now 2,400. But remember, the whole market's down as well. Now, Amazon is really promising. I mean, take a look at this. We had, on the monthly, you can see how it's laid out here, but let's go quarterly. We actually have had a really good quarter for Amazon. We had 10% growth. This is compared to the last quarter where we had 9% growth. We actually saw a decrease last year. So this is quite positive, I think, for Amazon earnings. Now, something to keep in mind with Amazon is Rivian stock went down significantly, which will decrease their earnings per share. And that's just a problem with them announcing that they had a profit last quarter and taking unrealized profit into the equation. but I think a lot of people are ready for this as well. So it will be interesting to see how they do, because they did see a large amount of people visiting their website this last quarter. And then we have Facebook. So we're going to add Facebook and Instagram, WhatsApp, Business, and Novi.com. You can see last quarter they had a little bit of a decrease, right? They actually fell about 2% from the quarter before. This is after they fell 17%. Now they've actually seen some growth. They've actually seen about 6.5% growth. So while they've been beaten down in price, they're actually seeing more visits on their website. So this might be positive. We'll have to see how their numbers come in, because people are worried about them wasting so much money on Oculus. At least that's what they say. I personally like the Oculus a lot, and I think it's actually going to be a big profit driver for them if they can do it right. I don't necessarily think they need to plow $10 billion a year into it, but that's their prerogative. I mean, they can do whatever they want, and they are already extremely profitable. So they're just trying to find some way to invest a lot of their free cash flow into something that will pay off down the road. Now, like I said, this is just interesting that they're experiencing this amount of growth for the fact that they have been beaten down and basically been cut in half over the last quarter. So if they can actually show that they've had more subscribers after last quarter, they fell a little bit in certain regions, that will be quite good for them. Now, this is not a foolproof plan, right? Like, we can't tell everything that's going to happen. Like I said, there's margins. There's the fact that sometimes people are just more willing to buy certain products, depending on how the consumer is. Maybe they just want to use the website without actually clicking on any ads and buying anything. So there's a lot to take into account, but I think it is interesting to take a look at. And you can see a vast difference between Netflix, which has just fallen quarter in and quarter out, versus something like Amazon, which is actually seeing growth. Now, again, if you guys want to check this out for yourself, there's a link to this underneath the video from TipRanks. And also there is that link down to BlockFi. If you guys want more info like this, you can join the Patreon. There I tell everyone exactly what I buy and sell, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.